Hi, I'm Dan.
I'm Olga.
And today we are going to fan cast the Percy Jackson television series on Disney Plus in 2022, probably, if hopefully.
If ever is what you were going to say.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so right now, if you're not aware, Mr. Ricardo Riordan, he, along with his fun people, have written the pilot episode. They are waiting. They got notes back and they are rewriting the pilot episode. This is all very standard. Hopefully, after a few more rounds, they'll get officially greenlit and they'll start and then getting casting. So that's why we're doing this here thing.
A little fun experiment.
Sometimes things get a little bit pushed back. So who knows? Maybe it'll be a 2023 thing. Worst case scenario, it doesn't happen, but I'm pretty confident. They showed a cool little graphic-y thing at the Disney
Teaser?
Investor. It was just like the little
Teaser-esque
trident. It'll probably be right here. We are going to go through the characters from The Lightning Thief, the big ones, and give us some fan casting, explain who these people are, what their backgrounds are, why we're picking them.
Yeah, why we think they would work.
Yes. So who do we got first for Perseus Jackson?
So our first pick is Jacob Tremblay from Room, Good Boys, and Wonder.
Yes. So he's an up-and-comer.
I think he's already come up.
He already came up. He's 14 years old, which is a little on the old side if this takes a few years to happen. But he looks young. He looks the part, I think. And especially, like, he got a lot of his acclaim from Room with Brie Larson. And then, yeah, seeing him, he's had a lot of different things between Good Boys, between Wonder. He's definitely, like, one of those young teen actors.
He can carry being a lead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that, and even like Good Boys, I didn't see Good Boys, but like that's a comedic film. Honestly, Percy Jackson needs a little bit of that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think he's a good choice. My alternate for him is August Maturo, who is 13 and was in Girl Meets World as Riley's little brother, Augie. So part of why I picked him is that he has a Disney connection, both with Girl Meets World and right now he's doing a voice on a Mickey Mouse cartoon. So all this stuff, like a lot of the people I picked have a Disney connection. Yes. They work with a lot of the same kid actors and things like that.
It's not just that we're like, oh, they'd be good.
Yeah.
Who would be likely in Disney's arsenal that they would call upon?
Yeah. And I also want to point out, like, a lot of these people probably should be unknowns.
Yeah.
But like for the sake of fun of doing this, we're not gonna be like, and the rando.
Currently in the 6th grade in Ohio Hills Junior High. It's like
no. But I mean, to me, it would be great to have people who already have some stuff under their belt specifically for Percy and Annabeth, because obviously it's great when you get Stranger Things casting people and you get some great young actors.
Yeah.
A lot of times that doesn't happen. So getting someone who can do the job.
Because my God, was the Lightning Thief movie awful.
Yeah.
And boy, oh boy, do we want this show to be good.
Yeah.
For all ages. So it's like, give them a good actor.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah. And I mean, connecting with that is we want them to be closer to the age range that the characters are supposed to be at that point.
Yes, exactly. All right, Annabeth.
So Annabeth was an interesting one. My first pick is McKenzie Grace, who is known for everything. She's the actress you've seen 1,000 times, but don't necessarily realize it.
Because her wig work is incredible.
So she plays, and this isn't even everything, young Theo on Hill House, young Tanya from I, Tanya, young Captain Marvel, young Sabrina from Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, young Emma from Once Upon a Time, young Caroline from Vampire Diaries, and she's the protagonist from Annabelle Comes Home. She has done a lot of work.
She's working.
Yeah. And she's about to be in the new Ghostbusters movie, which I think would have already been out by now.
COVID.
Yeah. But I think that would have even pushed her stardom even farther.
Yeah.
She's 14, which is a little bit older than I would want if they're gonna, like, depending on how long it takes from the start production. But she looks young. And she's so good.
She's really good. So it really depends on, this whole thing depends on what age they go with Percy.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be 12 in the first book. We think it's fairly likely they'll age him up a little bit. So it's just unfortunate if they're like 17 by the time they're filming.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
I'm not even sure that they'll age him up at all. After how much people push back against that in the movie and seeing how people like things like Harry Potter and Stranger Things. Like that said, I don't think the actor has to be 12, but they have to believably look 12.
Or at least 14. I could see them playing with it a little bit and then being 14, played by 16-year-olds. Let's not have any of that like 25-year-old playing someone.
No. So my alternate, if we're going to go even younger, is Brooklyn Prince. Now, you might not know, she's kind of more indie. She's from the Florida Project.
She's the lead of the Florida Project,
which was a quite acclaimed film.
Yes.
And now she's also the lead of Home Before Dark, which is kind of a take on Nancy Drew. She's only 10 years old. So to me, this is, hey, they're not filming until 2022 or something like that. So if she was like 12 when that happened, she seems like a perfect match for that if they really want like an actual 12-year-old. Next up, we have Grover, which I think is a complicated one to talk about.
Yes.
Do you want to tell me why?
All right. So there's this trope around casting specifically Black actors as like creatures, as non-human characters, and be that in voice acting, but especially in like live action. This is something exhibited in the movie where we have an African-American actor playing Grover.
So yes, that is definitely a trope. That being said, there are people out there who saw the movies, saw that Grover was played by a Black person in the movie, and if he wasn't played by a Black person in the show, would feel like they were losing representation. So that's one of those weird, complicated things. I have a white pick and an African-American pick. So the first one I have is J.D. McCrary, who is 13, and he's known for playing young Simba in The Lion King. He's also been in The Pains for a while. He is a musician. He, again, Disney connection.
Yes, yeah.
He's
has working with them.
Right age, I think The Pains is a comedy, so he has some of that chops.
Especially for Grover, he is a comic relief a bit, so.
Yeah, I think he has a good look for the character. And that if we're going for more of the, I'd say, traditional book version, we go with Jackson Robert Scott, who is 12 years old, and he plays the youngest brother on Lock and Key. He is another example of Netflix's child casting, which is just spot on.
So Disney maybe will want to poach that.
Honestly, also, depending on age ranges and what's going on, him being 12, he could be another Percy. That wouldn't be bad either.
Right.
Yeah.
Next, we have Clarisse, another important character at the camp. We chose Peyton Elizabeth Lee, who plays Andy Mack in the Disney reboot. Another Disney connection.
Yeah. So she's 16. Clarisse was really hard for us to cast.
Yeah.
To me, Clarisse being a few years older, not a huge deal.
Right.
And I don't think she looks like super old or anything.
Right.
I think she would be really fun for the part. I also think Clarisse being a unknown is like one of the ones the most that I think would work, because getting someone who's like a kid but that is like big and buff would be cool.
It's not a body type that we see from young women very much, especially ones who should be like preteen to young teen age. It's something that was really hard to pick. But again, given Peyton's like chops and what we know about her history of, being cast by Disney and holding her own, Clarisse becoming a more important character in other books, we think that she would pull it off.
Yeah. Another one that was pretty hard to pick for us was Luke, because he has to be in the, like, I would say 16 to 20 age range, but he has to, I would say the actor has to actually be in that age range, not just look in that age range, especially if Annabeth, who might be a 12-year-old, has a crush on this person. I understand it's a weird sort of thing where, she has a crush on someone who does not reciprocate it.
Right.
And he can be older than her, but it still gets weird when it's sort of a love triangle, and if he was 25 and she was 12.
The actors.
Yeah.
The actors.
Yeah.
Not the characters.
Yeah.
Yes. So we went with an 18-year-old, Sam McCarthy. He's best known for Dead to Me and Condor.
Yeah, he's the older brother in Dead to Me, if you've seen that.
Mhm.
I think he does a very good job there. I think he has the right look for Luke.
Mhm.
It's about finding that middle point between looking sort of intense, looking like a pretty boy, being like physically imposing.
Mhm.
I do think that was hard to find because I kept finding people in their 20s, or I found people who were like 15 and too gangly looking, But would love to hear your thoughts on Luke Hopkins too.
Yes. We do not have an alternative.
Next up is Chiron. Do you want to talk about this?
Yeah. So our pick for him is Ian McShane, best known for Deadwood, way back when, and American Gods.
Yes. So you know more about this stuff than I do.
Yeah. He's just kind of like this gruff older guy. Chiron is supposed to be like ancient. And there is something about Ian McShane where he is very like paternal, very much a teacher. He plays that in a guest part in Game of Thrones as well, as like a preacher guy. I very much see him pulling off being like the centaur man.
Yeah, and I think it's the kind of actor I can picture where he brings some like legitimacy and gravitas to the project while also not being like he's still a TV guy.
Yes, he's known for these TV roles, but it makes the news when he's cast in something.
Yeah. So now we're going to start getting into some gods, starting with Hades. I really like our pick for Hades.
Yeah.
So we're going with Joseph Fiennes, who is right now, I'd say, best known for Handmaid's Tale, but was also in things like Camelot, Shakespeare in Love, a few other things. He's been around. Do you want to talk about him in Handmaids?
I mean, oh God, you hate it. Like, he's disgusting. He's the worst. Like, oh my God, that first episode, I want to peel his skin off. Like, he's an awful person, and yet he's the kind of actor who can pull off a little bit of comedy should they want to do it with Hades. He's still like,
he has the charisma.
He's charismatic. He's, but he's gross. And I think he would be an interesting take for Hades because he is not like embodying the idea of like evil underworld is ugly, which I feel like is a trope that they could play with by not having it.
I think he's the right like sexy evil look. I think that he pulls that off well, especially not that many people saw Camelot, but I'll show some Camelot pictures and stuff, and I think he definitely has the right look for it. Handmaids is Hulu, which is another Disney connection. I think he'd be great.
I could also see him wanting to step away from an adult-only show and being like, I work with kids too.
And also Hades would probably be like a couple episodes.
Yeah, it's not a huge commitment.
Yeah. Next up, we have Dionysus, or Mr. D. And this one is probably not going to happen. But my one big name I picked out was James Spader. He is Blacklist man, right? So he does television.
He does do television.
Yeah. And it's not like Mr. D would be that many episodes.
Right.
But I guess, obviously, if you don't know, James Spader's everything.
Yeah.
Ultron, Blacklist, whatever you want.
Yeah. Well, again, Disney connection with Marvel. Yeah.
Also, Robert California in The Office.
Right.
And honestly, Robert California is what made me go, maybe he'd be a good Mr. D. He has that good, like lazy, sarcastic, making fun of people, like
not caring what your name actually is or if you live or die.
Hedonist.
Kind of thing. Yes.
Can't you just picture him, drinking some wine, even though he can't?
Drinking some Cokes and glaring at them. Oh, so good. Yes.
I think he'd be great. Next up, we have Poseidon, and this is another pick from you.
Yes. So I chose Sean Maguire. He is best known for Once Upon a Time as Robin Hood, and recently, The 100, he was the original Russell Prime.
Yep. Played a very nice daddy there.
But also gross, because he was mean and evil, and I feel like that kind of works for Poseidon, because he's supposed to still be like, nice as Percy's father, but he's nonetheless intense, like God and intense and powerful. And I think there's enough there where he's like, he can fit that description of like chill dude on vacation, but with the crow's feet and the nice smile lines, but at the same time pull off that like drama when he needs to.
Yeah, I think he has that debonair, I'm a risk taker, but I'm also just like kind of an everyman at the same time. And once again, because Disney owns everything, Robin Hood, when he was Robin Hood, was on Once Upon a Time, which is ABC, which is a Disney property.
Yeah.
Next we have Aries, and this is another Olga pick.
Yes.
So.
So I chose Travis Fimmel, best known as Ragnar Lothbrok in Vikings for many seasons, and recently he's on HBO's Raised by Wolves.
And what better actor to get for the God of War than someone
Viking.
who's known as being a Viking badass?
Charismatic. Again, he has some comedy. He has intensity. He's not all serious, but he can be and is intimidating.
Yeah, he's a big presence.
Yes. He's got, fight training and things like that for when Percy and Aries have a face-off.
Yep.
And I think it'll just be one of those things where for a TV show, he'll be a TV get.
Yeah. And again, like 2-3 episodes?
Yeah. He can come in for a few weeks.
Yeah. I think he would be really a lot of fun for that. And Aries is the kind of thing where I can picture a lot of great casting options, but I really do like that.
Yes.
Next up, we have Sally.
Not a god.
Mama Sally. But this actress is a goddess for me. Linda Cardellini. Probably, I don't even know what best known would be for anymore. Right?
Dead to Me Right Now.
Yeah, Dead to Me Right Now. Freaks and Geeks.
Mad Men.
She's Hawkeye's wife in Avengers.
She was Velma in the Scooby-Doo movies, which is probably the first thing I saw her.
Yeah. She's awesome.
Yeah.
And she's especially in Dead to Me, she just has that mom energy, right? And that just sweetness.
She's so nice.
She has that beautiful, but also a little frazzled, and she just has that best mom ever vibe.
Yeah. Sweet, caring, unfortunately too self-sacrificing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see also her pairing nicely with the visual, if they do the throwback of her with Poseidon with Sean Maguire, that kind of works of them being moony-eyed for each other.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
All right, last but not least, the king god himself, Zeus.
Yes.
All right, so we had different picks for this one.
Yeah.
I chose D.B. Woodside, best known right now for Lucifer. He plays Amenadiel. Also, way back when, he was Principal Wood in Buffy. And he's just been working all the way in between.
And he's a great actor, right? I think that he 100%, as you see on Lucifer, has that otherworldly power.
Arrogance, ego, self-assuredness that Zeus could have.
Yeah. Personally, I have no issue at all about race bending Zeus. What worries me a little bit is Jason, who comes later in the books. And to me, Jason being an all-American boy in the classic sense is important. And so
given the lessons he learns and what he goes
given
through.
who his character is. So I do love DB Woodside and would not be upset at all if they went that way. To me, another great option would be Anthony Starr, who is right now best known for playing Homelander on The Boys. Obviously has a very intense presence. There definitely is weird comedy that he has, but he also has that intensity, that strength, and he 100% looks like the father of Jason.
Yeah.
And he can, with a beard, I think he doesn't have to look like Homelander and all that stuff. He's also been in other things like Banshee and things.
Yeah.
He's a great actor. It would be a great guy.
And again, not a huge time commitment probably for this. And who knows if The Boys will even still be on by the time that they film this. But I think the gods, again, they can change their appearance, they can race bend them, and then still have children be certain, other actors that aren't the same ethnicity or nationality or whatever, but any and all of these characters could.
Yeah, certainly open to seeing race bent picks for any of these characters. Would love to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you like our picks? Which ones do you think are too out there? Which ones, who do you think needs to be an unknown and who doesn't?
What are some shows that we might not have seen that you are like, oh my God, so-and-so is perfect?
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.